Alright, so welcome to something a little bit different. That being a 7DRL. Now, I have technically basically covered 7DRLs before, but that's sort of vaguely in the form of a finished product that basically was presented to me. Such as Golden Crone Hotel, which I basically plan to do a Let's Play for in the future. But this is more or less an actual 7DRL. And up here we have Chess Rogue. So, Chess Rogue is a game in which you play the part of a sole survivor of the army of white pieces. There is still a chance to turn the tide, however, by striking at the enemy king while he is unaware. His guards will make this difficult, but if you can learn from them as you defeat them, you will have a chance. Your current movement options and capturing totals are displayed on the right of the screen, and messages will be displayed at the bottom. The rest of the screen is the play area. The grassy islands leading to an enemy's king camp. After you move, every surviving opposing piece gets to move, and if they capture you, the game is over. So basically it's a one-hit KO type of game. There are 4 difficulty levels. Your final score will be increased by playing the game at a higher level, and the top 10 scores are capped for history. Playing at the practice level means you cannot get a high score. Alright, so let's see how far we go here. Now, I'll note that Chess Rogue here, this is a game I first saw being played by Roguelike, who is basically a very avid 7DRL player of a lot of the older games. And he's been basically doing recordings for 7DRLs pretty recently too. So right now I think it's basically up to 2000 what is it, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there probably. And I assume he's probably going to be doing more in the future. But anyhow, this is basically one of the games that I basically came out of the 7DRL for 2005. And that's basically way back when this basically started. And the reason I'm basically doing the Let's Play here for this game here is because I don't think he really covered it as well as he basically did in his Let's Play. He didn't really say he's a master chess chess player and stuff like that, so I think that might be why. But well, I figured I want to jump into it to see how it plays basically, so I can gauge how good it basically is or not. I was basically looking to spotlights from 7DRLs, and well, I figured I basically better play this game to see how it actually plays, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so let's just go normal here. And I'm basically going to go with classic pieces, I guess. Alright, so up there in the top left, you'll basically see my king piece. And as I basically move around this king here, you'll basically see everything else can move as well. Now, you basically see on the screen a sort of Tetris type of style piece. That basically represents my moves basically, so you can see I can basically move left, right, or down at the moment. Alright, we captured him. Now, to tell you a little bit about this game, how it basically works is you're basically trying to maneuver yourself around without being captured by the enemy pawns. So basically, if you know anything about chess here, pawns can only move basically in horizontal or straight ahead type of directions. They basically move straight ahead towards you, and they basically capture on diagonals. So the idea here of this game is basically trying to basically play the game so you put stuff in bad positions and capture it basically. Now the AI is somewhat smart. They won't necessarily put themselves in danger if they can help it. Though if they bunch up like this, they're gonna have issues the other way. So capture that guy like so. We'll capture this guy like so. Now, I'll note by the way, if I basically try to move basically inside their sort of field of vision right there, I will be immediately captured. But if I'm smart and basically capturing off these pieces, we'll be able to get these guys' moves here a little bit. have to be very careful here, by the way, because these guys will, like, if they're basically like this and I basically try and capture them like this, that'll result in like a game over for me, so you have to be careful for that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna like back up and like capture right there. Okay, so at the bottom you can basically see I can now capture diagonally. So basically the idea of like this game is you're basically trying to like play it like capturing the pawns, and then as you capture enough of them you basically gain their moves, so we can basically like capture diagonals now. So if I want to, I can like grab this guy, and they can't actually do anything about me right right there, because like I can capture diagonally, but so what? Basically, to them. Now, again, I have to be careful like where I basically land. If I basically capture this guy's here, I'll basically be like trapped, so I have to like, sort of like avoid that. That'll work. That'll work. That'll work. Alright, well, so we basically captured 11 of these guys here. No problem. I basically try to like do an illegal move. I basically tried to like move like diagonal. It won't actually let me, but whatever. Alright, so we basically captured all the pieces on the board. Now, while we're basically like sort of like here, note that basically on like the very right of the screen, you'll basically see like the amount of like pieces basically captured, and on the bottom you can basically see like the mini map. So this will probably become more important as like we go along, as like we capture these levels, but whatever. So basically, save and exit, we can play next level. So let's just go any key here. All right, so now we got some bishops on the field. Bishops basically move diagonals, so you have to basically like, watch out for that, but whatever. Capture the pawn. I should probably note, but if I want to actually wait, I just press 5 to basically wait, to wait myself, but whatever. Let's go this way. We'll go this way. Again, don't capture when it's like bad for you. Capture him. Oh! Well, basically that's what happens if you like let yourself get checkmated, basically. So I basically pressed 5 as opposed to like backing up there. So whatever. As I said, one hit KO, so to speak. So there's our like final score. We've captured 23 pawns. So I'll look to actually like play this before to make sure it worked, but there we go. We basically like captured 23 pawns there. Let's just like not save. Let's go yes. And yeah, note that we're basically stuck with like it's just going to do all around the Merry-Well bush here if I keep on doing this. So let's just keep rolling this. I should probably note, by the way, it's possible to sort of trap yourself in this if you're not careful, so you do have to be sort of like careful of like your position, because like you could get yourself in a situation where like you just can't move at all. Oops, I let myself get captured there because I like went too fast. That's basically the key thing. If to sort of watch out for this game, if you go too fast, you basically get captured because it's like a one-hit KO type of thing. You'll probably note by the way, there's obviously a lot of like very similar features basically on this map, but there are sort of randomized at the same time, so that is a thing. Alright, that's not great. Capture you. Capture you. As soon as I'm gonna like start capturing diagonal, it'll be a little easier now, so. Boop. Boop. And there's a couple more pieces based on the board here, so. So that's interesting. Apparently there's like a random number of like, enemies that'll spawn basically as well, so. You have lots of pieces, you could have like, a few pieces basically, so. Good to know. Alright, well, ours basically, a level basically complete again. Play next level. So we got some bishops this time. So I'll note that each of these pieces, they have like sort of like a different like sort of like, play style basically. I'll note that the bishops basically can only move diagonal, and they can only move basically like 3 spaces at a time, so. Chopping might be a little bit difficult, but Whoop, I put myself in check there by accident, I think, or almost. I can go here, and yeah, basically here's like you get to the point where like, you have no moves, basically you're stuck, so. I'm not completely stuck yet, but I'm getting there. Let's capture this guy, get him out of the way. Capture you. Capture you. I'm guessing position is like very, very important for this game, so you can basically, capture these guys in a manner that's actually like capable of like, benefiting you, I guess. That'd be nice if he wasn't, guarded, but whatever. We can go this way. Again, they're sort of guarded to each other now. Again, guarded. Yeah, this is where it gets difficult because, like, basically, like, you may get into a position where you can't make any moves. And yeah, basically everything's surrounded at this point, so you're stuck. So I thought this would be like an interesting game to sort of show off. This is like, see like how like sort of like, the map basically plays out. But unless you like get lucky with like the strategy, I guess, you'll have like differently, I guess. So there's basically nothing I can do here. I'm basically captured. So there we go. See, I thought this would be like an interesting game to show off because like, it basically like combines chess with like, the interest of like a roguelike, but it's got some issues with the fact that, like, you know, it's like a little bit too unforgiving. There's one capture. Now, I will note, by the way, I don't actually have to capture all the pieces if I don't want to. It is possible to sort of like just like capture 6 pieces and just run away to like the exit. You can like just exit out, like, you know, complete an area. That might actually be like a plan. It's like, you know, just keep pushing forward. You don't have to try and kill everything. I got captured because like there's, well, you can go back here. With pawns, it's not too bad for, like, you know, avoiding capture, but you know. I'll note there's no music for this game, right? So I have to watch out for my, you know, my mic turning off or whatever. And I think we're basically done here because we're already seen a situation where I can't move and nothing else is gonna be able to happen. Just capture me, I guess. So I'll note this is like an interesting concept for a game. Like, you know, it's always interesting to sort of combine, like, you know, chess with, like, you know, rogues, I guess. Since, like, you know, chess is basically one of the inspiring like elements for like rogue, but it really goes to show, like, you know, you have to be, like, you know, whoops, you have to sort of like sometimes add like some, like, you know, rules basically in to sort of give like the player some sort of advantage if they need it. In case, like, you know, luck becomes a play or something like that. Captured you, and now I'm captured because, like, you know, almost like a checkmate there. Take the easy pieces when I can, right? So, push me. Oops, I myself got captured there. Well, let's just give this like one more try. At least try to get to like level 2 again. So I don't think it's so much that this game is like this, like, you know, a bad game. It's just like the fact it's like not like you know, sort of elements based sort of help yourself out from one like a one hit KO. It's actually probably a game that would benefit from like having lives or something like that to sort of like, you know, give you like sort of like, you know, a bit like cushioning room in case like you make a mistake. Oops, that almost like a capture there. I suppose that's like, part of the reason, like, this game's got like kind of like a bar because we're using like the one hit KO type of mechanic. You can't really like just like sort of like bum rush like most like really basic roguelikers like me like want to. Oh, I myself get captured there. The best I've ever done is get to level 2 so far, and that might be like, about as usually as good as it gets maybe, perhaps here. There's some pawns. Chew. Get you. I'm almost got enough for like, diagonal captures. Oops, I don't. Well, that's just me like, going too fast for my own, own good there. I will give it this. It is like, at least addictive, the mechanics, because there's at least that going for it. There's at least some captures. This is an okay place to be. As long as they don't like, swarm me at the same time. Okay, now we can capture diagonally, so I'll speed things up here a little bit, I guess. Capture him. Oh! I'll try this one more time, of course. It is like, not that hard, basically, to like, basically, the thing about this game, of course, like, as like you do in chess, you have to have like, plan like 2 steps ahead, so to speak, to sort of like, win. That worked. How can I abuse the AI to is basically, the aim of this game. Or being chased around by pawns. It might make sense for me to go this way. And capture stuff here is a thing, right? I'll at least try and have like my 6 captures before like I move off. So there's that about the game. Now, this is like probably a big fan note because, like, turn order basically matters a lot for these like pawns because sometimes they'll be stacking next to me because they have no other move. They have to move and they have to move like next to me. Other times they're like just like whatever, just not really like making mistakes. Like there we go. Like that guy moved toward me because he didn't have a choice. So the other guy like went after him. I think these guys will pass their turn so they get stuck. So there's that as well. Okay, I can capture diagonally. That'll be useful. I always feel like this would have been a good game to have like sort of like a a hit point count on your king. And I just let myself get captured. Alright, well. So, some comments basically about this game. This is basically a game that, like, it's got some cool concepts to it, but, the one-hit KO is what basically makes this game difficult because you have to basically, like, anticipate stuff like, for each individual basically move you basically make for, like, with your single piece. And of course, like, if you go too fast at any given point in time, it's like, it's possible to like capture like this. And here's the thing about these, like, one-hit KO type of games. They can't be made to be like, too like, unforgiving because it basically slows down the game to like, point where it's basically like, not fun to play. And that's basically my takeaway from like this game, but whatever. I plan to do a few more of these like 70-year-olds. This will be the first one. Hope you guys basically enjoyed it and take care. Alright, so I actually had a thought there, but I was only actually showing you guys basically like, one of the modes basically here for like, playing this game. And that's basically with classic pieces. If I use like no challenges here, that'll actually add in like the other like pieces that we can actually like basically play with here. Let's get these guys to filter in over here a little bit. Okay, well, I captured some pieces there. And I'm in a situation where I'm just automatically captured because of where I put myself, but whatever. Yeah, now we're like doing like no special rules basically, so this should actually add like some different tests of enemies basically for us to basically face off again. So maybe I'll like change things how they basically sort of work. Now let's just get to the end. Why not? All right. So basically, there's like different tests of enemies basically faced in this game, and now we have basically like these like sort of like promoted pawns. these guys I believe can like sort of move in like in like diagonals and stuff like that, so they're not as like weak as like the other pawns basically, so to speak. Let's just grab you. Oh, that looks like a capture there. So I was actually thinking to myself, I'm sure I mentioned this, I actually played a little bit between like in this and like the last episode. While I was basically like sort of testing out of like the text mode, and I know there is like an ASCII mode for this game, but it's a little bit different because it's sort of like connects to the screen to like this small little terminal like mess, and it's not really playable. But something to note about this game here, I think it would benefit a lot if they actually made it so like the king had like HP, so to speak. So maybe like you have like free HP, and basically you can take a hit basically from enemies, but you don't necessarily get like automatically one hit KO'd. And how that probably would like change this game by a lot. Be a lot better, I think. Capture pawn. Now it's doing circles of this guy here. Alright, this guy's trapped here, so that's cool. But it looks like he's gonna be like flanked by like someone whenever he has a chance to, right? So there's that. Oh, that's right. He can also catch me from there. But that's the thing about this game, right? It's like there's so many like possibilities that like make this game like it could be a lot better if there's like a hit point type of system, I think, in this game. Because as a puzzle game, it's basically a little bit like too challenging, I think. And that's like going too fast for my own good at this point, because like I just want to get to see like the next level. Actually, it probably would have like been better if it actually had like maybe a different piece here than like a king unit. Another like a big part of like rogues, like you obviously be like overpower them, so like you can sort of like just like steamroll stuff. Capture you. Capture him. Capture you now. There we go. Now that's something to note about. You can only capture diagonally forward, so note that basically like I can capture like if I go forward but not backwards, so I can capture him. Capture him, and there we go. Apparently there's only 8 pawns this time around. That sort of like helped things out a little bit. That's like another thing to note about this game. This is like not a bad idea and concept, but it needs to have like a lot of things basically sort of like give like the player some sort of advantage. Limiting the amount of like enemies that basically pop up would be like a good way of like doing that. So you can like have like not like too many enemies basically to fight like for a player at any given time. Now, if I recall about these guys here, their weakness is basically in columns. If they're basically like in a corridor, they can't really move around, so you can basically find them in a corridor, they're like, a lot more easier to capture. That's right, this guy can also be captured by like, sliding into basically if he wants to. Well, I figured out, rambled on enough about this game here. Chess Rogue. Basically, it's a 7-year-old from like 2005. It works okay. I mean, like, in concept, but, it needs to have like more things basically fleshed out to make it like, a little more advantageous to the player. Other than that, though, that's it. I'll play more 7-year-olds in the future. Take care.